Okay guys, we're going to measure this a complete house this time and just kind of let you see what the total steps are. And I always like to start from the garage, and I usually work left to right. You know, that's personal preference, but whatever's comfortable for you. But let's start with the garage. It's usually easy to do this by yourself. The tape hooks on to the garage fairly easily. We're going to go all the way to the end here, remembering that you've got a cap on this corner, but in this case we're 24.4. Okay. Next step here, we've got a slight indentation right over here. So we're going here, so we've got the gutter, so we're just going to come out just a little bit here. You go up against, and when you've got vinyl siding, you want to go to the lowest part, or if you're trying to get up against the house. You know, it's not a lot of difference, but it can be ½ an inch difference sometimes. So anyway, up against the vinyl siding or up against the house to the actual corner, and in this case we've got 2 feet. Okay, now we're going to move over to this corner and see if you can see me through the bushes here. Can you follow me? This one. All right, we're basically just going straight across this pool. It's 11 feet 8 inches. And you know, it's real easy with a tape measure, and you know, there's lots of easy places to attach it to. However, if you want to make it a lot easier, one of these. Mine happens to be a Disto 2. It cost about $200. There's a lot of versions on these. You can get them a lot nicer, but for 90% of the things I do, this is a great tool to use. It's easy inside, outside. The red light is bright enough in the sunshine, but I'll show you how these measurements can be a little bit easier. The one that we just measured, straight up against the house to the lowest point, and guess what? Measurement's the exact same. And here I could do the same thing. Up against the gutter to the house is exactly 2 feet. So I actually carried this little tool with me for 2 years before I trusted it enough to carry it on its own. These things work great. They'll save you a lot of time. Give them a try. All right guys, now we've moved up to the porch, and we're just going to measure from this corner over to where the porch turns out, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And we're going to start it with the Disto. Go straight across. Let's try it again. I always do it twice just to be sure. And in this case I've got 17.7. And I always do it in tenths. You can do whichever's better for you, but tenths are generally easier. When I'm coming over here to the end, all the way to the flattest part of the wall, get the same measurement. All right. Once we get to this corner, then the wall juts out this way. I'm going to start it on the end, come inside to the wall. In this case, it's 5'9". Either way you want to do it, whether you do it with your tape measure, or I'll put the Disto out here. See where my little red dot goes? And it's 5 feet 9. You really can trust these things. But anyway, so we've got the garage comes over, goes in 2 feet, comes across, comes out just a little bit. Then this measurement that we just took comes straight across and then comes out. And I'll show you how all that fits together on the sketch when we get finished here. But now let's move right around the corner. Okay guys, on this measurement, we're actually going from here to the end. If you can see where the end of the porch is, right here, and the measurement keeps going straight to the end of the house. Now you can obviously do it with your tape measure here and go all the way to the end, just come out past the gutter. Or a lot of times I will just take the Disto, I will measure to the beginning of the gutter, and then I'll add the distance, the width of the gutter to complete the measurement on there. So normally when you're using a laser, you may have to bounce it off something, whether it's a gutter, a fireplace sticking out, you know, whatever's available. Sometimes you have to be creative in doing these measurements, but there's generally something to make a point, even if you have to go past it. You know, let's say if there's a fence, you can do a plus or a minus with this laser measure. So it's easy to do most of the time. Just use whatever tool's most comfortable. All right, I'm going to take this measurement and then we're going to move to the side of the house. Okay guys, in this place we're measuring the side of the house. Thankfully there are no big bushes in the way, so this is a really easy measurement. We're just connecting to the end of the house where we have no gutter in this case. You can walk without worrying about a heat pump or kids' toys or ladders or whatever you may run into. There's lots of obstacles normally. We're going to the end of the house, and if you can see where this comes, this is probably not close enough for you to see, but this is 34.1 and a half. But remember now, we've got a cap on the end of here, which is just a little bit of distance. So we're really going to call this measurement 34.1. Okay guys, at the rear of the house, I just took the measurement from the corner over here, which was exactly 15 feet. Now I did it with the tape measurement, and this has a gutter on the end, so I could also go back this way, measure to the gutter, add the 4/10, 5/10, you know, whatever it is, and get that complete measurement. But that was straight across here with this measurement. Remember, the flat part of the wall measuring out is exactly 3 feet, or you can do it with your tape measure, with your disto. Guess what? 3 feet. Anyway, straight over, this comes out and goes across, and then I'm going to do this measurement right here, straight across again. I disappeared and I'm back, and that measurement at the bathroom is straight across. It's 11 feet and 2 inches straight across, and then we're going to run into a fireplace and we'll talk about what to do with those next. Okay, here now we just measured, this is part of the interior bathroom. We just measured the 11 feet whatever, 11 feet 4 over. We got a measurement that comes back. Now when we come across, we come to another part that stands out, but this is the fireplace. So even though this box sticks out, this is not included in the finished square footage count. So even though basically you're going to piece this measurement together, we're going to measure the distance from this side to the fireplace, which is 6 feet 1/10. Then we'll measure the front of the fireplace over to the next wall and get that dimension. But even though we've got an out, across, and back again, this is the fireplace, and the exterior of the firebox is never included in the finished square footage count. Okay, now we're up to the middle part of the firebox, so I'm just going to measure straight across, and that is 5 feet and 2/10. And remember, we're going to add that to this first measurement, and then we've got to go over to where we actually have a bay window over here. So walk with me this way, where we've actually got the bay window ends right here. So actually we've got to find the distance from here to the beginning of that fireplace. So we're going to have 3 full measurements to add together to create this one space. In this case, with the vinyl siding, I can put the tape measure in behind there, or I can put it on, you know, I can add it to the firebox like this and pull it across. And since here we don't have a specific wall sticking out, you know, sometimes you have to just try to line it up as best as you can. In this case, it's 7.3, or you can also go this way. Just hold it as close as you can from there, go straight across, and we've got 7.3. Okay guys, when you're doing a bay window, just remember there's really only two measurements here, and whether you want to call it the over and out method that I like to call it, or you want to call it the rise and run, it's really as simple as measuring the distance straight out and the distance over. And you're going to take those two measurements, and when you put them in that handy little software, it's going to calculate the square footage for you, so it's really easy to do these. Now I'm taking my tape measure and holding it straight out, and you know, if you really want to be specific, you can actually use two tape measures, put them on the ground, and where, you know, one coming this way and one coming out, and where X marks the spot, you know, that's your measurement. But here, most of the time you can do these just eyeballing it and get it pretty darn close. And of course, you remember this has to balance with the rest of the house. So you kind of know how much room, when you have all the other measurements done, you know how much room is left for your bay window. So when you take your measurements, you can kind of back out what's left for that. But I'm going straight out, and I am measuring 2 feet and 1/10 straight out. Then I'm coming over to here in a straight line right from the corner. And in this case, I've got 2 feet over. So I've got 2 feet 1 coming out and 2 feet over. Put that in the computer, you know, over and out, and then hit the enter key, and you've got your measurement. Then you're simply going to measure the distance across the widest part. And of course, when you're doing vinyl siding, it's a lot easier because you have something, you know, to hold this on. And a lot of times, you know, you have to put it on a window and deduct something or be creative, but with vinyl siding, it's fairly easy. So we're just connecting that and coming over, and in this case, it's 4 feet and 1/10. So we've got the 2 feet 1 coming out, 2 feet over, and then 4 feet 1 on the other, or just going straight across. And then we'll have the exact measurement on the other side going back to the house. So these bay windows are really simple, guys. Don't try to make them more complicated than they are. Over and out and straight across, and let the computer calculate the square footage for you. All right, here, this is actually the back of the garage. So this is measuring to the very end of the house. And I don't know if you can see this, but we have some pretty large bushes on this side. So, you know, depending on the time of the year, you know, you can run into whether it's a spider or a snake, or whether you've got 2 feet of snow. You know, there really are some obstacles that get in the way. But I've walked behind all the bushes here and come up to this corner. And since there's a gutter here, I'm just kind of eyeballing where the exact corner comes into. And this is the other side of the bay window. And that measurement comes out to 26.2. Okay, as you're moving around the house, you always want to measure, you know, whether it's a front porch, a patio, a deck, screen porch, whatever it is. I always say anything that gives value to the house, I'm going to measure it and include it on my sketch. And of course, if you're using a laser measure, these are pretty easy. I'm just going, if you can see the red dot or not, but it is 11.9 straight across. And 15/8 from front to back. But always measure your decks and porches as you're going. You know, you've got those, it's easy. And most lenders and buyers and sellers like to see those on the sketch. Okay guys, I'm hiding in the bushes here. This is the last measurement on the side of the garage here. And it's another space where we have really large bushes here. And you know, sometimes you can take your laser, you know, whether you run into a heat pump or an electrical box or something, you know, you can take and add measurements together, or you can use your tape measure, you know, and get the full pull. But we've got the last measurement here, and I'm going to show you why we're not showing you the measurement behind here, and kind of show you what these bushes look like. Okay, from the corner of the house, you can see the large bushes that are in the way and why we didn't go that way. You see the walkway, and then we come back around and you can see we're at the front of the garage. So that was our last measurement, and let's move inside. Okay, we've moved into the bonus room up here, and I want to tell you one reason why we selected this house. You know, I know there's a few spider webs around, but we picked this house for a reason. You know, we've got the attached two-car garage, and we're going to look at that more in just a moment. But it's got, of course, the bonus room. It's got a bay window. It's got a fireplace. It had a lot of measurements that we wanted you to see. And it also has the issue with the giant bushes in the way here. So anyway, we chose this house for a reason. Now, in the bonus room, this room is basically a rectangle. And we're going to do a length times width. And it's simple. We're going to measure straight across the room. And of course, we got a little bit of slope up here, but it's well above the 5-foot mark, so there's no issue with the slope ceiling. Now, the width measurement is 11.8. So on our sketch, we're going to list that as 12.8. We're basically adding 1 foot to that dimension. And anytime that you're measuring upstairs, you want to treat it the same way you do the downstairs. You know, when you're measuring the main level, you're counting either a brick wall, vinyl siding, you know, whatever the siding is, you're measuring it from that space. So you're going to treat upstairs the exact same way. We're adding 5/10 or 6 inches, if you'd rather call it that, on this wall and on the opposite wall. We're going to do the same thing when we have the measurement for the length. In this case, we've got 23.4. But this room, basically first that 23.4 would turn into 24.4. But one reason I picked this room is I want to show you how the stairs are and show you how that plays into measuring this space. So follow me this way. When we come over here, we've got, of course, the 23.4 goes to here. We've got this wall, and then outside of here, we've got the stairs going down. Now, we've also got a closet over here on the other side. So basically, this measurement that is going to include the staircase, it's going to go all the way from this exterior wall to the other exterior wall. So here, we've got a measurement of 27.5, and we're going to turn the 27.5 into 28.5. We're adding, you know, if you can see the windows, we're adding for the exterior walls on both sides. And now I want to show you how the stairs come into play. Okay, so now we're in the staircase, and the finished bonus room is on the other side of this wall. So we've already measured the width that includes this exterior wall all the way through to the other side. So we've already got this included in here. Now, if you can see this wall right here, this is where the width of that bonus room stops up there. We've got a closet back behind where we're going that way. So the distance from here to the back of that closet is the same width as the interior of that room. So what we've just got a little area here where we've got extra space for the stairs. In this case, we've got the distance from here basically to the bottom of the stairs. And remember, that's an interior space, so we're going to the bottom of that staircase and, you know, going straight up with no addition for an exterior wall. So in that case, we've got a measurement of 6 feet, and the width on this one was 3 feet. So basically, you've got a rectangle for this bonus room, and then you've got a space 6 feet by 3 feet that you're going to also add. Remember, when you're doing stairs, it's just like you take this space, raise it up to the same level as the bonus room, and count it as square footage. It counts as square footage on the upper level and on the lower level. So it's only 18 square feet, you know, but if it's $200 a square foot, does it make a difference? It certainly can. So anyway, after this one, I'm going to show you another staircase and another bonus room and let you see some of the variations on bonus rooms and measuring stairs. Okay, we're going to look at a different bonus room and a different configuration of the stairs just to show you another possibility here. Same thing, you know, we've got a little bit of slope in the ceiling, but it's well above the 5-foot mark, so no question there. We're doing the width 10 feet 9. What's that turn into? 11 feet 9. We're adding for the exterior wall. The only thing up here is the bonus room. So we've got to add for the exterior dimensions. Okay, in this case, we've got a closet here, and this closet just goes into the attic space. So technically our finished space ends right here on this wall. So I'm going to take the measurement. The full length is 21.6. I'm going to take that 21.6 and turn it into 22.6. I'm adding for the exterior wall on the front and for this exterior wall on the other side. Now, in this case, we've got a staircase that just goes straight down, and we'll look at that in just a second. But here I've got from this door, we're coming out 2.5 tenths. So 2 feet and 5 tenths. So when we do get over to measuring the staircase, in order to make this a rectangle, we're going to measure the same 2.5 down that staircase. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Now we're in the staircase, and remember in the bonus room we had a rectangle, but the staircase, you know, there was 2.5 that came up, went across for the door, and then of course it comes 2 feet 5 back. So what we're doing, we've got to measure the 2.5 inside of here, which we've already got marked. So basically now our wall, in order to have a rectangle, the wall basically comes right across here. So we've got just a rectangle bonus room. But that still leaves us quite a bit of steps. And yes, this is money, it's real money. So from here, we've actually got 8 feet 2, and it's 3 feet 3 across. So let's just say we got 26 square feet. When you do your sketch though, you're gonna have the rectangle drawn out, and then you're gonna have this staircase added on to the finished square footage, because remember, this staircase is finished square footage on the upper and the lower level. So from the main living area, when you're coming up to this bonus room, you're going to draw out the bonus room, you've got the rectangle, and you're going to add for the staircase, and that little bit of difference could be the difference, you know, between getting a low appraisal or a closed sale. But that space, according to the ANSI measurement standard, is finished living area on both levels. This is the front view of the house that we just measured, give you an idea, and the floor plan of the full layout on there, as well as the bonus room. And we're also going to show you just a picture of how the interior of the bonus room looked like, so at least you have an idea of what we just measured.